One thing that we haven't really touched upon is that just because you're starting out teaching ESL online with companies doesn't mean that that is what you have to do forever in terms of staying in this kind of career field. There are other things that teaching ESL online can lead you to in terms of your career growth. Think of teaching ESL online as a stepping stone for what comes next. Hello friends, I'm Catherine from the OET and I help people, especially mums, start and succeed with an online ESL teaching career they can do from home around their families. Today, we are talking all about how we can use teaching ESL online as a stepping stone for our whole career growth. Now, if you've listened to any of my other sessions, you will know that I recommend everybody starts with online ESL companies. So this is an established company that has a student base. Most of the time they provide their own lesson curriculums and resources, and they hire teachers in order to teach their content to their student base. There are lots and lots of companies out there, but the pay rate for the industry is quite low. So it's not something that I suggest people stick with for long term. It's an entry point into this career path, so teaching ESL online. So they're really good for getting you started in terms of building experience, growing in confidence, and learning how the industry works, what types of curriculum there are out there, what students are wanting to work on, and what you enjoy teaching as well, particularly if you've never taught before. You don't know yet if you enjoy teaching phonics or reading or writing, or maybe you prefer conversational classes with adults, for example. So a lot of the time, companies are a really good entry point to help you get a foot in the door, but it's not your end path. So they help you build up your experience whilst you're earning on the go to then do next step. Now, there are different things that you can do once you become an online ESL teacher. You gain so many different skills by teaching online that can then be transferable for so many different things. So here's just a couple of those transferable skills that you will get as an online ESL teacher. So one thing is obviously communication. You will learn how to communicate with people from all over the world, from different cultures, be able to teach them different skills, and be able to learn patience and different ways of explaining concepts so that they can understand them. Your confidence will grow on camera as well, so you'll be used to talking through your camera. You'll be great with tech because you're balancing out teaching whilst also managing the classroom using different digital tools. So that's something that's a real bonus for lots of different career paths. You'll be great with your time management skills. You're balancing quite a lot of the time, 2 to 3 companies on one go. So great with time management and making sure that you're reliable. And then, of course, the international side. So you're gaining that cultural experience of teaching people from all walks of life, which is just amazing. What an awesome opportunity. So these skills will open doors, whether you want to stay within the ESL industry or to take those skills outside of ESL and do something else. So here are a couple of the common paths that some teachers have taken after they've worked with online ESL companies. So one of the most common paths that people take is they love teaching, but they want to achieve a higher rate per hour, which isn't always obtainable with the companies they're teaching for. Generally speaking, companies offer the lowest rate that they can get away with. So as your experience grows, you're able to go after a higher rate, and you deserve that higher rate as well. So lots of people will grow from an ESL company to starting and launching their own freelance teaching business. And it might be that they stick with the ESL industry, so they're teaching ESL, or it could be that they focus on different topics. Maybe they want to support home educators. with English and maths, or maybe they're more into science, or perhaps cookery, for example, as online classes for kids. There's so many different things that you can teach online. The options are unlimited. Maybe you don't even want to stick with teaching kids. You actually want to support adults. So again, with ESL, you could teach adults in business. You could do conversational classes, or you could niche down into something specific. So maybe if you come from a IT support industry, there's quite a lot of different tech and coding terms that are involved with that. So you could teach that to non-native English speakers who are trying to build up and develop their career and earn more money, which they can do by being bilingual. So you can teach that terminology to those people and become a specialist ESL teacher. Again, we can niche down, so you can teach, kids, adults, but even focusing more on exam prep as well. There are so many people around the world who are taking English exams. So you've got the Cambridge exams for children, you have the IELTS exams for adults. There are lots of different paths that you can take, and the most common from teaching with an online ESL company is to then go down the freelance route. If you feel a little bit burnt out, okay, I've done my teaching now, but I want some time out from live content, there are other things for you. So you could go down the path of curriculum developer. Perhaps that you've learnt how companies produce their curriculums, but you're seeing that there's a gap in the market or something's missing. You could then use that knowledge, create your own curriculum to sell to other freelance teachers. Or even go down the content creation route as well. Maybe there are lots of digital tools that would be great for online teachers to learn about, and you could create content surrounding how to use those tools, what those tools actually are, how would that support a teacher teaching online, and then you could earn money through that too. These are just a couple of different ideas. Or perhaps you're very skilled in a particular niche, or you've gained quite a lot of experience teaching online. Maybe you've even done some teacher training. I know when I worked with one company, I was fortunate enough to join the teacher training department, and that was so much fun. I was making curriculum training materials. I was leading training calls with lots and lots of teachers from the company. And I was even doing quality control and supporting teachers to improve their skills. And that was so much fun, which has led me with the OET training, where I help obviously people just like you to become better online ESL teachers, or to even start your career. So that's something you could do as well. If you're passionate still about helping people and you love the industry and the opportunities that it has provided for you, you could then coach and mentor other people to become brilliant online ESL teachers as well. So there's lots of different paths that you could go down. Of course, if you're a beginner, you don't have to decide this now. The point of this session is to show you what's possible. You don't have to stay with the first company that you are hired by for the rest of your life. There are options to grow your career and income later down the line. Now, when do you know that you're ready for the next step in your career? Well, generally speaking, it's when things start to feel a bit limiting or even suffocating. So there are signs that you are outgrowing your current, position, I suppose, or your current place where you're at now. This can be where your income is just stagnant, it's not growing anymore. And I don't know about where you're positioned in the world, where you're located, but I know that where I am in the UK, every single year prices are increasing, and quite a dramatic rate as well. So my income cannot be stagnant, because if my income's stagnant, there is an increasing disbalance in living cost and what I can actually afford. So my income still needs to grow as the living costs grow as well, so that I am able to survive and I can provide for my family. So if you're finding that your income is just stagnant with the companies, even if you apply for a different company, they're not offering you a better rate, then it's probably time for you to look at the next step, because that your income is not going to grow any further unless you do something about it. So that's when you go freelance, or you start looking at supporting other teachers in their role, or maybe you want to become a virtual assistant and support other business owners. There are different options out there for you. Perhaps you have been teaching for the last 5 years and you've been teaching 20 hours every week. You're probably hitting a peak of burnout. You've been teaching consistently again and again and again. And I don't know about you, but for me, teaching live classes, especially for children, although it's extremely satisfying and rewarding, it's also draining. It drains a lot of your energy. And when I was teaching live classes, if I did like 3 to 6 hours back to back, I would then just sit in silence and have to have a cup of tea. Very British, I know, but I'd have to have a cup of tea, and I would tell my family, I need 10 minutes of no noise. So I wouldn't come downstairs to say hi to everybody after I'd finished. It would be that 10 minutes of, okay, please don't come and disturb me. I just need silence to myself, because I've been talking for 3 hours straight. I've been listening for 3 hours straight. I've been entertaining for 3 hours straight. So I just needed that time to decompress and then go back to whatever it is that my family's doing. But if you've been teaching 20 hours a week for the last 5 years, you're probably feeling the same way. You're probably burnt out and you're thinking, this is not sustainable. I cannot do this for the rest of my life. So that's a good point where you're thinking, okay, I need to think and plan and prepare for the next step. So teaching online doesn't have to look the same as where you're at now. It can grow and evolve with you and where you're at and where you're feeling at that time. So there's no rush to progress. It's based on your own timeline, as and when you're ready. But the point of this session is to show you that there's not a one size fits all. Not everybody has to go from company to freelance or stay with a company forever. There are opportunities out there because you have joined an industry where there's so many transferable skills that mean that you will be incredible at whatever step you choose next for your career. Now, if you did want to learn a little bit more about how the OET specifically could help you in terms of your career growth and what path is laid out for you, I do actually have a 3-step path laid out in the Mini ESL Teacher Toolkit. This is a free membership for people just looking and dipping their toes into, is ESL the right career path for me? And inside you'll have a job spreadsheet board with companies that are hiring right now. There's a guide on teaching ESL online so you can get an overview look of what the industry is. There's some support so that you can identify transferable skills you have now to bring into teaching ESL online. But the bit I want to highlight to you is that with the OET, I've created the 3-step path, which is a 3-phase model that can take you through a whole career that enables you to diversify your income streams, provides you with stability, and also helps open up different ideas and opportunities for you to earn residual income. So we have the step 1, which is starting with online ESL companies, step 2, freelance teaching, and then step 3, focusing on additional income streams that build up residual income so that you're earning again and again from the same piece of content or product or service that you are offering. So you can find out more about that and how that looks and how that could be something for you inside the free Mini ESL Teacher Toolkit. If you've got any questions though, friends, you know where I'm at. You can reach out and I will do my best to answer them for you. But just know that where you're starting doesn't have to be where you end. You don't have to finish at the same point as you're beginning. So when you're starting out, it's really helpful to have this overview look of, oh, okay, this is where my career path could go down if I start teaching ESL with a company. There are different opportunities out there for you. Your income doesn't have to become stagnant. Your enjoyment of teaching doesn't have to be lessened because you're feeling burnt out. There are other things that you can do still within teaching ESL online or with transferable skills from this industry to help grow your income, your enjoyment, and your career. I'll see you soon, friends. Bye.